Are you fed up of hitting what you think are good golf shots but not getting the results that you were hoping for? A lot of golfers will be quick to blame their swing or the clubs, but it could actually be your golf ball that's causing all your problems. So in this video, I'm going to highlight the 7 signs that you're using the wrong golf ball and give you some advice that could really help you choose the right type of golf ball for your game that should help improve your results on the golf course. We're here at the amazing La Hacienda Golf Links in Spain. Let's get into it. Sign number 1 would be not getting the amount of distance that you were hoping for with your driver. We all know it's frustrating. You go out on the course with your buddies and you think that you should be hitting it a similar distance to them, but when you get down onto the fairway, it turns out they're hitting it 5-10 yards longer, and it's really frustrating. But it could be the golf ball that's at fault, and particularly the spin profile of it. We all know that golfers deliver the club in very different ways, in different speeds, and as a result there's no spin number that's going to be right for every type of golfer. But it's important that you get the right spin profile for you to see the optimum ball flight, because what a lot of golfers typically see would be a ball flight where the ball starts quite low and climbs, and that's an obvious sign that the golf ball is spinning too much for your driver. What you really want with your driver ball flight is one that sort of launches high and sort of pierces forward on a boring trajectory. Sort of that rainbow ball flight is something you really want to see with driver. You don't want to see it start low and climb up too high, because if you're hitting into the wind, that's going to really rob you of distance. You also don't want to see a trajectory where the ball sort of falls out of the sky too early. That's a sign that your golf ball is not spinning enough for you. So that trajectory is really important. So really observe the flight when you hit a driver. You want to see that sort of rainbow ball flight, and that's going to give you the most amount of distance potential for your drive. So hopefully I can sort of demonstrate that one for you now. This is the golf ball that's fully optimized for my particular swing. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. That's the optimum ball flight for my particular swing speed and delivery. So have a look at your ball flight, see if it's falling out of the sky or climbing too much. Definitely a switch in the spin profile of your golf ball is going to give you a little bit more distance. But do be careful, if you are switching, for example, into a lower spinning golf ball, there's going to be a bit of trade-off in performance in terms of what you're experiencing into and around the green. So if you can sacrifice a little bit of short game control for added distance off the tee, if you prioritise distance, you really want to outdrive your friends, make that switch. It should give you the potential to get further down the fairway and score a little bit lower. So another sign that you're using the wrong golf ball is a lack of control in the wind. So if you feel like you're hitting good shots but you feel like the wind is buffeting them too much, maybe you hit the ball a little bit too high and the wind is pushing it one way or the other, or maybe it's pushing it back towards you, you're losing a lot of distance. Or if you generally play on quite exposed golf courses and you're using quite a high flying golf ball, that is obviously not probably the best way to go. So there are some advantages in the rules of golf. You're able to tee up at any type of conforming golf ball on the start of any hole in the amateur game. So that's definitely something you can take advantage of if you come to a hole where it's maybe blowing into the wind and you need to keep the flight down. A changing golf ball would really help. It's something I've talked about in other videos as well. So for example, I've got a Titleist Velocity here, which is one of the higher flying golf balls in the Titleist range, which is fine when you're hitting downwind. But if you do play in quite exposed golf courses, that extra height is going to cause you a bit of a problem. So let's just hit one with the Titleist and hopefully you can see how high the ball flight is. So that was a pretty good hit with the Titleist. You see that sort of right in those clouds there. You'll see from the shot tracer just how high that shot went. And so obviously within the rules of golf, you know, there's a lot of options available to you. I've got here the Titleist Pro V1, which is a considerably lower flying golf ball than the Titleist Velocity. In the Titleist range, you've got the Velocity, then you've got the Pro V1X, then you've got the Pro V1, and then if you wanted something even more extreme than that, you might go for the AVX, which is a significantly lower spinning, lower flying golf ball. Definitely worth trying. If you play a lot of links golf, I'd 100% recommend the AVX golf ball. It's a really good ball at keeping the flight down and getting a more penetrating trajectory. But anyway, here's the Titleist Pro V1, which by design is a lower flying golf ball. And obviously, you know, if there's wind around, generally keeping the flight down is going to mean you get a little bit more control. It's not going to be buffeted as much by that wind in all directions. You can see there, it was a bit necky, but that was noticeably lower than the Velocity, and it's running a lot more when it lands. So if you are playing in quite windy conditions, definitely consider switching golf ball into something that's going to fly lower. It should help you gain a little bit more control over where it's going. Now that is another sign that you might be using the wrong golf ball. If you struggle from short range, in particular with your alignment and feeling comfortable over the ball that you're aiming in the right place, maybe a change of golf ball could really help you out, because there's lots of visual options on the golf ball market that will enhance your awareness of where you're aiming the putter face. And there's a few options that I really like, and these are two ones in particular. So I've got the TaylorMade TP5X stripe, and this is the Callaway Chrome Soft X Triple Track 360. Obviously more recently it's been the Chrome Tour 360. This is an older model, but you can see the visual impact this will have on sort of highlighting exactly where the putter is aiming, if you're able to align the sight lines on your putter with where these lines and graphics are aiming. So it's really simple. You just stand behind the ball, get it lined up. I've got the Callaway one here. You can just check it, maybe just use the shaft of your putter just to check it. This is a pretty straight putt, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then all you have to do is make sure you get the sight lines on your putter exactly aligned with where the lines on the ball are aiming. And as an added benefit of this, it will definitely help you if your perception of where your putter is aiming is off. It will give you that visual feedback. So I know that I actually tend to aim right and pull my putts on line. So as a result, even though I've got this stripe pretty much aimed at the hole, it actually looks like it's aiming a long way left of the hole. So that's going to really help your practice in ingraining a more neutral stroke and maybe ironing out some of the faults in your putting stroke that should help you longer term. But anyway, all you do with this particular shot, get the sight line lined up with the line on the ball and just focus on matching that up when you swing the putter, just like that, and in it goes. So if you struggle to hold out from short range, definitely try something on the ball. Obviously a line would work just as well, but these ones in particular are a little bit more vivid and are going to give you really good visual feedback on your alignment, which should help you hold more short putts. Now another sign that you might be using the wrong golf ball is that chip shots release past the hole a lot more than you're expecting. I think a lot of golfers like playing a distance orientated golf balls off the tee. It gives them more yardage, but around the greens it can lose them a lot of control. If you're someone who likes to be quite aggressive with your landing spots, likes to play the higher shot chip shots around the green, you could really be sacrificing that performance that's going to help you get up and down. So one option to definitely try would be to switch to a urethane covered golf ball. On this sort of partial chip shot, you're not activating any other layer on the golf ball apart from the cover. So a urethane cover is going to give you more friction with the club face, and the groove's going to give you more spin around the green. You'll notice when you chip with a urethane cover golf ball like I've got here, the ball flight is very different, but more importantly how it reacts when it lands on the second and third bounce is incredibly different. So you can see how much lower that flew, how much it stopped to attention quickly when it bounced. So it's very much down to personal preference. If you're someone that likes to play a lot of chip and run shots, you prioritise distance off the tee versus control around the green, maybe your short game's fairly one-dimensional and you're okay with that, then you can get away with maybe a non-urethane covered golf ball, a more distance ball that's going to give you more release around the greens, and accept that you might not get it up and down a lot of the time if you're short-sided. But if you're something that wants to be a bit more creative around the greens and wants the opportunity to get up and down in more situations, especially from the rough when you really need that spin to get the ball to stop, switching to a urethane covered golf ball is just going to give you a few more options around the green. It's going to give you a little bit more control when you're chipping, and it might cost you a few more pounds versus a distance ball, but in the long run I think it's probably going to save you a few shots. Now another sign you're using the wrong golf ball again relates to distance, especially off the tee, but it specifically refers to the compression of your golf ball. A lot of golfers out there are very quick to choose a soft feeling golf ball because they like the feel of it and maybe they think that gives them a little bit more control into and around the greens. But generally speaking, a softer golf ball is a slower golf ball. So for most golfers, you may well experience less distance off the tee with a low compression golf ball versus a higher compression golf ball. It's going to be a little bit firmer and give you a little bit more speed. It's not an exact science, and compression of golf balls range from 30 all the way up to something in excess of over 100. So there's a whole range of different spectrum of compressions you can choose. Slower swing speeds could well benefit from actually having a little bit more compression in their golf ball, where the ball deforms and springs off the face a little bit more, but that point of diminishing returns comes pretty quickly as you move up the scale of compression. So my advice to you on this would be to try out different compressions of golf ball. Normally it's listed on the box somewhere. try a soft feeling golf ball, try a firm feeling golf ball, try something in the middle, and see exactly what your ball speed and your carry distance is like. But I'd say, generally speaking, a lot of golfers would be probably playing a ball that is a little bit too soft for them. And if you want to hit the ball further, maybe switching into a slightly firmer golf ball would be the way to go. Now, some manufacturers obviously will offer ball fittings, and some other manufacturers will offer recommendations for golf ball based on driver swing speed. All I would say on that is just be a little bit careful, because obviously when you're hitting a golf ball, you're not just hitting it with driver, you're hitting with lots of different clubs where you're delivering the club at lots of different speeds. So it's not an exact science to be able to recommend a particular type of golf ball based on your driver swing speed, but as a rough guide, it could well be helpful in terms of determining which compression of golf ball would be right for your game. Oh. Yeah, that's another common mistake, and a real sign that you're using the wrong golf ball is if your iron shots are flying too high, especially in this situation. A lot of trouble short, a little bit wind into, you really don't want to be hitting your iron shots too high and coming up short of the pin. So and that often happens when you use a distance orientated golf ball, because you're not getting that friction with the ball on the face like you typically would with a golf ball that has a urethane cover, a premium golf ball. You typically, with a firm golf ball, it would slide up the face a little bit more, launch a little bit higher, and that's when you get those trajectories that go quite high. Obviously you do get a slightly lower spin as well with a sort of firmer, maybe like a two-piece Surlyn golf ball, but generally speaking, if your iron shots are going too high, it's a sign that you might need to make a switch into something that's going to give you a slightly lower trajectory, a bit more control, and maybe a urethane covered golf ball. You spend a little bit more, you get a little bit more control over your ball flight, and that's going to help you find a few more greens and lower your scores. So another sign that you're using the wrong golf ball is that if you struggle to really see it or track the trajectory of it, whether that's through the air or even when you get down to the hole, the fairway, or more likely the rough, and you struggle to see where the ball's finished, it could be that a changing golf ball will actually help you see the ball through the air or on the ground a little bit better. And there are plenty of options out there in terms of the visual tech available on golf balls that might help you see golf balls a little bit clearly. So I've just brought a few here from home. This is the TaylorMade TP5 Pix with its sort of triangle patterns on it. That's going to definitely make it easy to see. You can switch to a yellow golf ball. I've got the yellow Pro V1X here from Titleist. Again, definitely going to help you pick out a golf ball. You know, when you've got a, maybe not today, I can see here at La Hacienda we've got the lovely bright blue sky, but if there's a white milky sky, white golf ball against a white sky, it's going to be difficult to see. So a yellow golf ball would definitely help. Or one thing I really like, which is the one I'm going to sort of demonstrate for you now, is the Srixon. This is the Q-Star Tour divide. You can get Z-Star divides as well. You can see this is a sort of split golf ball with yellow on one side, red on the other. Great for alignment. You can use it on the golf course. It's conforming to the rules of golf, so great for alignment when you're putting. You can obviously peg it up like that to help you with the alignment with the driving. But what thing you can do with this particular golf ball, if you do struggle to track where it goes through the air, maybe your eyesight's not as good as it used to be, if you tee it up this way, so with the divide sort of pointing away from you, so perpendicular to the target, when you hit a drive, obviously the ball will spin backwards. It creates like a strobe effect. It's very easy to spot through the air, so definitely well worth trying if you struggle to see golf balls. So let's demonstrate that for you now, and you can hopefully see how much easier it is to pick out. So there you have it. You could definitely see that sort of strobe effect with the ball spinning and the different colours appearing as it was rotating, which definitely made it easier to see down that hole. So if you are someone that struggles to see where your ball's going, let's face it, no one likes that person who constantly asks the other people, oh, did you see that? Where did that go? Maybe you're switching to any of these type of golf balls, but it's especially that divide option from Srixon could help you see the ball a little bit better. So have you recognised any of the signs that I've talked about in this video? Well, in that case, some new golf balls could well be on the cards. Do your research, invest in maybe a sleeve of 3, give them a try and see how they compare to what you played before, and hopefully with the advice that I've given you, you should be able to make a change for the better, and it might even help you improve your scores. But that's all from me here at La Hacienda Golf Links in Spain. I'll see you next time.